Welcome to Money Matters. I'm Tanya Rivero in New York. For all the students out there looking to make some extra cash during these tough financial times, we've got an idea we want to tell you about that can turn all those hard-earned A's into cold, hard cash. It's called GradeFund, and we're joined today by Michael Kopko. He's the 24-year-old co-founder of the company. Hi there, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Ms. Rivero. Thank you for having me on.
So tell us a little bit about GradeFund. You launched it as an alternative to student loans. How does the site work?
So my brother and I, Matthew, decided we wanted to solve a fundamental problem, which was helping kids receive and pay for a great education. And one of the things we'd realized was enabling kids to invite their network, their family, and their friends to support them in their drive, not only monetarily, but to kind of support them in a mentoring role, would not only help them pay for school, but potentially get the emotional support they need to do better in school as they go.
All right, and before we get into the site a little bit further, you are quite the entrepreneur. You had already founded a company called DormMaid, which I understand turned you into a multi-millionaire at offering student laundry services?
Well, it's become DormAid, and the name is basically the premise that we provide services to students and families at colleges across the country, like laundry, water delivery, appliances, to help them at life in college.
And is that still going strong?
It's still going strong, and I think we're going to have a great year next year, especially as things start to clear up in the economy.
Okay, sounds good. And now let's turn back to GradeFund. What's the most amount of money a student using GradeFund has earned to date?
So we've gone through our first semester of billings only, but our top earner right now is at $1,300, and we've seen about an average earnings of our students about $100 plus for those who invite sponsors in the GradeFund.
Pretty good. And tell us a little bit about these sponsors. Who are they? Their friends, their family?
Yeah, so right now the GradeFund allows you to invite friends, family, anyone that maybe gives you a bad Christmas or birthday present. You can say instead maybe sponsor my drive for good grades. And as we continue to build the company, we want to bring in people from across the world because we've received a tremendous amount of support from teachers and philanthropists, and we want to enable people to find students in Africa or Tokyo and say, I like that student, I want to sponsor them in a small way and also provide them kind of the emotional support they need to do well young in their life.
And so how do you make money? What's the business model? Is it from advertisements on the site?
I think that's something that we'll start seeing. Right now, we're really just a sustainable company. We take 5% of the money we transfer. That's not going to really put the business in any kind of long-term financial position. But right now, we're just trying to get students on the idea of inviting their network, reporting their grades, and starting to kind of take this as a student bank account, a way to feel good about how much they study in school.
So right now there's no fee to students to use the site?
There is absolutely no fee to sign up, to invite sponsors. It only happens when we transfer money.
And so how can sponsors be sure that the students are actually using the money for their tuition?
So right now the sponsor has the option to say they want to send it directly to the student, or they can designate they want the money sent to the financial aid office. We're finding that younger students, the money is being sent directly to the student because a lot of students in that age group are enrolled in public schools. But in college and in high school, we're seeing more of the other trend.
And Michael, what's your response to those people out there who might not believe it's a good idea to pay kids to do well in school?
Yeah, I think the premise that we're trying to advocate is not that you should only study because you're going to get paid. It's that we can bring some of the rewards that we promise young people that they're going to get in 10, 20 years to today, to let them know working hard can have a small benefit today and an even greater benefit later. And we see a lot of high school dropouts that we think are just not recognizing there are benefits to working hard today, to staying in the library, to staying in class as opposed to hanging out with their friends. And we think this tool will enable them to see the long-term payoffs as well.
And what about trying to get some corporate sponsors involved, maybe to sort of match the donations of the personal sponsors?
That's the goal, and I'm working on it. I got a couple companies that are in discussions with me right now. I'm hoping that kind of one of them is going to break the ice. We had Zoo2, which was our first corporate sponsor. They support pets, and they're an online pet community across the country. They're our first sponsor, but we're starting to talk with a few of the bigger brands, hoping that they're going to join us in a much more serious way as we build our user base up.
And what's the response been so far from the schools themselves?
You know, we have not seen from administration officials any response. We've seen a lot of is a tremendous number of teachers and administrators writing into us and just saying personally, if there's any way that I can help or I can share this with my class, please let me know. A lot of teachers are trying to help turn the tool into ways to raise money for trips abroad or supplies in the classroom, and we're working hard to build tools that will enable students to raise money for different types of learning activities besides just going to class.
And have you heard from the students themselves? What do they say about it?
The basic, response we get is, this is a really simple idea. I think this is going to go places because this is how it's always been in my household, whether my family took me out to dinner or bought me a new toy. And if you guys can actually build a tool that lets students across the world do this, this business will go places. And that's what we're trying to capture right now.
And finally, how do you make sure, though, that the students, today's students are very tech savvy, and we, of course, want to think the best of all of them, but how do you make sure that they aren't fudging their transcripts?
So right now, the way you get money from corporate sponsors or any kind of third-party money, you must send us an official transcript. We have a receiving office where we get all of these official transcripts. We check them for what the address it's coming from, the watermark on the transcript, and then we upload it to our database, and then we'll mark it as a validated grade report.
All right, so you're really checking up there. And the easiest way for students to get started is just go directly to the site?
Go to the site, sign up a few friends and family to kind of build your first network of support, and we're going to start working real hard to bring in the rest of the world and the community to support their drive for a scholarship.
All right, Michael, thanks so much for joining us today and for getting the word out on this, this great idea.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
And for more on this program, you can check out GradeFund.com. That's Money Matters for now. Check in with us throughout the day, and for all your business news, log on to abcnews.com. I'm Tanya Rivero in New York. Thanks for watching.